What's up, guys? We are back. New episode. We're going to start working on the bed finally. It's the first weekend back after Slam Fest. I kind of took the whole week off to relax and enjoy what I've done. As you can see, the Hardbody's in the garage right now. I'm going to get the parts truck pulled over here. We're going to pull the bed off and get it set up. Hopefully the sawhorses I have will hold the weight of the bed so we can get it going. Here we go. All right, so you guys saw us get it back over here. I didn't turn the camera on because it was a big cluster. We were just trying to hurry. We got the bed in there. Jennifer and I, and Bentley, Micah, we all tag teamed it, got it squeezed in there. And then I went ahead and cut off the muffler. I was going to pull the whole exhaust off because this thing is annoyingly loud. Annoyingly loud. But it's also straight manifold where it angles down. And so I expect it to be loud. The only other thing I was going to do, I'll get it to an exhaust shop at some point. Something in my beard. Anyways, keep this. I want to put that on there. Probably pointless to do it, but it'll give me some, it'll make it quiet a little bit, or it'll make it annoyingly loud, or annoyingly 4-cylinder. I don't know, something. Anyways, the rest of the exhaust is on the trailer now. So now I just got to figure out what we're going to do with the bed. The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to run through and knock all this seam sealer off and come back in. And inside these little spots, it's hard to see, there are spot welds. I'm going to drill these spot welds out and see what we can do about getting this these two panels apart before I, or as much as I can before I start running across and cutting. Alright, so got all that out, all that old seam sealer. Not perfect, but it is out. I had to heat it up with the torch just to the point right before it started melting and burning. You can tell it got a little hot right there. To keep it going, I don't think I got enough or hot enough on this one side. Anyways, so I went back in, started marking all my spots for where my spot welds are. Went to Harbor Freight and got this spot welder cutters. We're gonna see how it goes. Hopefully it'll work pretty easy. There you go. All the way across. Everywhere I could see is done. These were with the actual spot weld cutter. Man, that thing wanted to dance around on me a lot. And I wasn't real happy with how big it was cutting. Especially when the spot welds weren't a 1/4 inch or 3/8. Maybe that's why. Maybe I should have got a 1/4 instead of 3/8. Anyways, I ended up taking a bit, as you guys saw, drilled a pilot hole, took the step bit, went through. It did fine. So I'm going to take and heat up some of this other stuff, try to get it out of the way. And I'm going to get a chisel, try to get up underneath this, and separate this piece here from the bed and see how it goes. Alright, update. So, went through and got all this up. Like I said, there is a spot weld underneath this. I had to bend this up, drill it out, and then I put it back down. Same thing on this side. There is one in there. I didn't have a piece of metal or 1x that would fit all the way across. Did have a piece of angle that the 1x fit on, burned them together so that when I do cut this thing is solid and it's not going to go anywhere. If it does go anywhere, that's my own fault for using what I had laying around the house. So the other thing I'm going to do, let me get this, walk over here. I'm going to take this and run it down to the, hold on a second. We're going to run it to right there, run it to the bed floor, or the bottom of the thing. as you stare at the top of my head, looks like we got about 5.5 inches. So we know we can raise this up 5.5 inches from where that rib is to the bottom of the rail. Do I call it 6 and cut a 1/2 inch into it? I shouldn't need it, being I did a 2.5 inch body drop. That would give us 3 inches of clearance. It's going to depend. I think we run with the 2.5 inches, or the 5 inches, 5.5 inches. There we go. Let's get it all straight. Anyways, we'll do the 5.5 inches, raise it up, and see what happens. All right. So we've got the first full cut done. I will have to come back in and trim some of this down. I was very paranoid. You mean you can see it's all moving. Oh, I was very paranoid that I was going to get too close and cut the mess with this you can't, there we go, that outside edge. And that's actually the first time I've looked at it. Looks like it's good, but I will have to come back in and clean up, especially this front edge on this side. I'm going to go and do this next side. And there is your second cut. That one was a lot easier because I knew what I was doing. Looks a lot better. Yeah, it's done. It's separated from the bed sides are separated. Now to mark the other stuff and start to cut. So I ended up, you can see I made a mark kind of up under the bed. And I'm going to cut this center section out first. I got it all the way across. This is not going to be easy. Looks like it might be easy. I don't know. But I figure when we get up here to the top, especially up here, I bet it's going to be rough because it's like right there on that. So I am going to take, and I'm going to cut this center section out first, hopefully, and try to make it a little easier and then go from there. There we go. We got the first piece out. Wasn't too bad. What I will say though, don't use a sawzall. Sawzall, especially in the corners, I think it's violent and jumps around, and yeah, I was barely pulling the trigger. I just got a new one and barely pulling the trigger, and this thing wanted to run away from me. So be careful with what you use. And there's part 2. So now we have everything marked. We've got the initial spot coming out. Now we make the big cuts. Let's see what happens. All right, squirrel moment. So I ended up going, what's gonna happen if I go ahead and cut this here and cut this here? So I know I originally was gonna just drill these out, blah, blah, blah. I got to thinking about it, and after watching some other videos, it was gonna be easier to do. I put a straight edge on there, and I pulled it all the way across, and it's gonna come out right behind where I need it. So inevitably it's gonna come up, but I'm still gonna have this much space between the tailgate and the where the fuel neck's gonna come out, because I'm gonna end up having the fuel neck like right here somewhere. So I'm not gonna cut the rest of it because I don't need to yet. But we're gonna mark that, like I said, and go with it from there. All right, so we got the other side cut out. We got the driver's side cut out over the wheel well. And what I ended up doing next, I started cutting across the bottom. I did the top on that side. Same thing over here. Sorry about the headphones. I had them on when I was cutting. So we got that, and I was like, well, I was running into issues over here. So I went ahead and ran where the seam sealer was on the inside and on the outside, cut it all the way across as far as I could get it, and I pulled from the bottom, come up 5 inches, and marked it. So now I'm going to take and cut that 5-inch gap out. And then what I'm going to do after that, there's 2 panels right here, as you can see. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to cut from this panel across, pull this section out. That way I can get in here where I need to and go over to wherever the crease is and then cut it on the outside and then be able to cut all the way up as I'm trying to explain it and not pointing at it. So I'm going to set the camera up. We're going to time lapse this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right, update. When I tell you be careful when you're doing this, up on this top side, let me zoom out. There we go. And I mean it. I got too close with the grinder on the inside, trying to cut that top piece. And then I had already previously did this, and that was a Sawzall. That's where I was saying earlier that it's violent. So let me get around here. Went ahead and got all that cut out. And all that. So that's where we're at right now. I am back up here on the front. I had to sort out when I was saying earlier about cutting and trying to figure stuff out. I ended up having to come back in and cut this way to get this to separate from each other. I need to take this little piece out right here. But while I was here, I was watching a video from Dirthead Dave, and he's done this on his bed, which is kind of where I've taken some of my ideas because he's made it simple to understand. But he took when he cut his, and he was talking about this piece here and how there's rust up underneath it, and there is. So I'm taking and I'm going to pull this all the way off, all the way across. I'm going to come back in and hit this with the flap disc. I'm going to clean all this up, and we'll get it all primed up and ready to go here when we do everything else. But once I get done with this, we're going to go back and we're going to finish up this side, and then we're going to work on that side over there, so that way we can set everything down. I think I got to go back in and watch it, or look at a couple other videos. I think I need to cut here and up, and then on the back side there is a, excuse all the stuff on my face because it's, yeah. There's a couple of braces to do it, and once that's there, we should be able to drop it down and figure out what we need.
One eternity later.
Alright, as you guys just saw, we got this out. I will say that when I say watch what you're doing with this stuff, I got really, really close. Let me get up in here with it right here. And I did it again right there. So watch it when you cut through this, because that top side, that is extremely close. This stuff here wandered on me. This I can clean up. That'll be up underneath there. This here, I'll have to figure that out because that's a little bit of a gap that's going to have to be filled right there when we weld it back. So, like I said a minute ago, the only thing that's holding this up right now is a couple of braces on the back and the 2 up front. So I'm going to cut the ones up front and then cut these in the back. So we got something hanging it up. It is cut, it's dropped, it's there. That side's up probably 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. So I got to figure out where we're at. Maybe it's here. It's point down. Maybe it's this because it's not down all the way. Maybe it just needs to be tweaked. I don't know. I haven't even. Looks like. Let me turn. There we go. Looks like it might be that seam sealer. So I can just rough that stuff up, get it out of the way. Hopefully it'll bring that down. As I almost trip as I'm walking over. Let's see. I don't know. So there's the back. The bracing that I was telling you that you have to cut is going to be the rear bed mounts. Luckily for me, I don't use those. Let me point where I'm. There we go. I don't use those. Those bed mounts are. I have a, what do I have right there? Oh, I have a piece of 2x3 where those sit at now to reinforce the back and to help the frame out. Looks like that spot right there that I said was a little high. I'm going to have to go ahead and pull that off and trim up some of this stuff there. I think now it's just, yeah. It's just fine touches and tuning and getting it all there, and then we start welding. So I've got the front clamped where it needs to be. I did sort out what it was. It was there was a piece of plate that was part of that stuff that I pulled off right here. That was here and it was sticking out, and it was a mixture of that and the plate that's here and the seam sealer. So we've got it all in place. We've already leveled it, see what we got. So yeah, I'm calling it a night. All right, tacking. Getting this stuff set up for 18 gauge and not fighting with it and making sure your stuff is clean will make things simple. Let me turn this around. We got it tacked across there, tacked there. Let me get down under here. We got it there. We got spots there. Yeah. I got stuff there all the way across. Front's done. So, the biggest thing I will say with that, and it was difficult because, and there's spots I didn't get clean. Get your stuff clean before you tack. And then I got a new regulator on the welder because the other one, when I pulled it off the other day, because I was going to refill my tank, dropped. No, I dropped it. I didn't mean to. Anyways, the other thing, it's hard to see, but I also have the front tacked in. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to get some cardboard. We're going to cut some templates out. We're going to fill that back in. So we'll make sure that this bed side doesn't flop around. Same thing on this side. But yeah, I can convince everybody to come out and help me. I may try to put it on the truck, at least laid out, see how it looks, see how much of a see if I'm going to be disappointed or not, because I'm going to have to cut more out, or if I'm going to have to cut the tubs, or what I'm going to have to do. So let's see what happens, because I don't know what's next. All right, so got out here, made up my little template, used cardboard, got this cut out. Let me get this turned, and got this up in here. Looks like the top I'm gonna have to trim out a little bit to make sure it fits. I'm gonna clean the edges up and then tack it in place. That's just to fill in the spots where we cut that 5 inches out. And then I'll go to that side and we'll do it again. There's the first one. Wasn't too bad. It actually, again, amazing what happens when you clean your stuff up. So for this one, same piece. That was the driver's side. Obviously, we're on the passenger side now. Let me zoom out. So I had already set this up under there. See that it's not going to work that way. Just spin it around. I had to cut the little nub off the top of it. But that is going to fit good. So I'm going to go trace this out. I'm going to cut it out and we'll get it welded in. All right, so we're sitting on the notch. Maybe I overdid it, maybe I didn't, I don't know. And then the cross member on the tank right there. Or on the gas tank. So, at this point, trim it, cut it, something, make it work. Anyways, at least we got the bed, at this point, it's sitting on the truck. It's not great. It's up. You had to get up under to see it, but at least it's on there. Now we go back to the drawing board and adjust fire and go from there. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see what we can do on this next video.